A co-ed leaves Virginia's James Madison University after she says leaders ruled she was sexually assaulted. But the students that attacked her wouldn't be expelled until after they graduated.
News 4's Grant Cruz shares how an overnight protest at the university 20 years ago created what students thought would bring lasting change.
In 1994, a survey by the Department of Justice reported 117,000 sexual assaults, but only 47,000 of those were reported. That same year, a group of James Madison University students decided they'd had enough of the school ignoring their call for change.
I worked really hard to get into JMU, and I have still lifelong friends from my time there.
They wanted to be a school that had opportunities for every student, no matter what your interest was.
In the early 90s, when they attended James Madison University, Brian Kildee and Laura McClintock came together in a class looking at the problem of sexual assault.
I had one of them on this arm and one of this on this arm sobbing. And it makes my blood boil even to tell it now.
A lot of the students weren't reporting the fact that they'd been sexually assaulted, and then that kind of gave the university a pass in whether or not they decided to deal with it.
They took their complaints to the university, but say they were stonewalled and ignored by leaders that thought they could wait the protesters out.
They canceled meetings with us. They held meetings without us that they had assured us they would invite us to, and we really had to force it.
And one night in March 1994, flanked by a dozen of their fellow students.
We felt forced at one point to take over a university building. We took over Alumni Hall, and they threatened us that they would take action to force us out of the building. Well, we made it clear that we were staying. And one of the things we did to make it clear that we were staying is we ordered pizza.
And when they emerged the next morning, local newspaper and television reporters were waiting. School leaders listened and agreed to some of the students' demands, like changing the term sexual misconduct to sexual assault. A full-time position was also created to work specifically with sexual assault victims.
We felt like we had done something to leave JMU better for the students that were coming after us. And so it's been appalling to see the news about what's going on with JMU now and the lack of judgment.
In Harrisonburg, Grant Cruz reporting.
Now tomorrow in part 2 of our story, Brian and Laura discuss why their work isn't over.
And you'll hear shocking accusations about advice sexual assault victims received from school leaders.